or staff. It's a bit of a head fuck.
Okay. Well, let's break it down.
All right. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Let's see. My partner on this should be joining any moment. We'll give her just a second. Today, we'll be talking about specifics on, oh, here she is, Chris. We'll be talking about booking bans in our areas, Japan and Hong Kong, and our experiences booking bans outside of our areas. So what I think you might find is you'll go, oh, it's the same there as here. maybe, or it could be different. We'll find out. Let me give a brief introduction of myself, and then Chris will give a brief introduction of herself. My name is April, and I live in Tokyo, Japan. I've been here for about 12 years, and for 11 of those years, I have been working with domestic artists here, as well as overseas artists who are interested in the Japan music scene. I do management, development. Generally, I'm working with indie artists or small label artists, but now and then I have some consulting or short-term projects with major labels or major artists. So we've been able to be at many countries. And I recently booked my 100th tour for bands here in Japan. So that was quite exciting. Chris, tell us a little about yourself.
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'm in Hong Kong. I was born here. I live here, and I am a musician. I play guitar and sing. And yeah, I discovered I had promoter skills over 20 years ago. So I have a original music showcase platform called the Underground HK. And this is our 19th year of doing shows. I've had over 600 bands play my shows, and then I also have new band showcases. And because I'm in the music scene here, like April, I do consultancy sometimes, usually for non-music festivals, but they want a musical element in it. And so I help those out. And yeah, I love promoting. I love bands. I love live music. So this is great. Yeah. So yeah, I have lots of experience.
Fantastic. Thank you, Chris. So this is the second session of our series. We'll be doing more, then maybe we'll do even more after that. It's kind of geared more at the starting band, independent band, small label band. Obviously, major label band, how you do things is going to be quite different. So today we're going to start talking about how to book your band in our regions, and then also our experience booking outside of our own regions, with the key, of course, why an EPK might not be a great idea. Okay, so the first thing as I just mentioned, it's up and coming bands, small bands. Major label bands are going to do it a different way. Even well-known mid-level bands might be same, might be different depending upon the situation. I book in Japan, but I've also booked our bands in the US, Canada, Mexico, Thailand, Malaysia, Taiwan, UK, Germany, Israel, and Spain. So what I'm saying comes from my experience within those regions. Chris, now, of course, you're dealing with Hong Kong. Have you booked bands outside Hong Kong?
Yeah, I've booked them for Macau, and also within mainland China. So kind of like the Chinese region. Generally, if bands need contacts in other Asian countries, I'll refer them to people like yourself or others. Because yeah, it's already complicated enough here.
All
yeah.
right. Sounds good.
Yeah.
So the information that we share is what has been true for us in our experience. That doesn't mean that you're not going to find an exception somewhere. All right. So the first thing that we want to talk about is, what does a band need when they start booking? For me and the venues, festivals, etc., that I've booked at, a quality promo picture is key, not live performance video. The one with the mouth open and the hair flying everywhere is not a promo photo that venues here want. It's really not one that I want to see either when I'm first working with a band. They should have a live performance video that was done within the past 12 months, preferably at a performance with audience, not just in the recording studio. Because again, the venues, the events, we want to see, how does the band really sound when it's not gone through studio production? And a stage diagram tech sheet, preferably 1 page, maybe 2, because again, a venue, a small event, does not want to go through 12 pages of key tech information, as well as a list of what snacks need provided in the back room, because there are no snacks. Then think about what area or region you're going to, and do they provide a backline? Do they have PA? Do they have sound or lighting tech there? Or will you need to rent it? So are you going to need, can you take public transportation, or are you going to need to rent an equipment and van? And of course, think about the lead time. So within Tokyo, I book bands 5 to 6 months in advance, because many venues fill their evenings and rental slots between 4 and 10 months out. And certainly when I booked in New York, it's about the same time frame. And when I booked in London, they also are far in advance. So I think the more in advance you can do is better, because then you can get the shows set and start promoting them. Chris, what's your experience on these?
Yeah, I agree that like one photo, definitely not live, just so you can see what the band looks like, and definitely a recent live performance video. I would say we don't even need the tech sheet, the stage diagram just yet. Let you venues like have small stages here, right? You know, Hong Kong, like Tokyo, is a very expensive city. So if you send us this stage plot for where you play, where it's a town hall and you've got lots of space, it's just not going to work. And it's just like, we're not even at that stage yet. Like, so yeah. And considering the area, like, yeah, like, why are you coming to Hong Kong? What do you know? Like, you know, just kind of do your own research. Don't send me a booking inquiry with questions about Hong Kong. Google is your friend. Yeah. So,
or
yeah.
perhaps the better thing is, rather than a booking, if you have questions, send an inquiry email that's just questions first off.
Yes.
Hi, I see
yes.
that you work in music in Japan, in Hong Kong. Can you tell me a little about the situation there? I'm really interested. Then we can share the information, appropriate links, and then later you can contact with booking. She brings up a
very
good
true.
point with the tech sheet. Certainly we don't need that first email, but once I'm actually booking the band, I do need it. Again, 1 page, as she mentioned, it's not a huge stage. So you have to be willing that, oh, the exact Marshall amp that I always use, they're going to use a Fender instead. Or not going to have 20 feet between each member. It's going to be a small situation.
Yeah. And yeah, definitely. And lead time, probably similar, like nobody knows you. Right. And obviously you're not just coming to Hong Kong, so you need to plan your whole tour. So you're going to need time anyway, realistically, right? And if you send me an email going, we're going to be there in 3 weeks' time. So how long have you known you were coming to Hong Kong? I mean, just like, am I just a last minute thing? Do I really want to book a band that nobody comes to? We do minimum promotion, and then someone turns around and go, look what the Underground did. Look what Chris did. Hardly anything for that band, without realizing I only just got told that the band was coming 3 weeks earlier. You know, come on. Yeah. Like, I'm not, you know, we're not miracle workers.
I have gotten bands contacting me saying, hey, we're going to be in Tokyo in 3 weeks. Can you get us 3 or 4 shows? And it's like, wow, no. I mean, perhaps it is possible to find 3 or 4 shows. There's about 800 music venues in Tokyo alone, but most of them are full. They've already filled their nights. They book between 4 and 7 bands a night every night, and 3 weeks ahead, they're already filled. So for me to find even 1 show, I'm probably going to have to contact 60 venues to find that 1 show. So it is so time intensive with the short time frame. Plus, you have no time to promote, nor do the other bands who also do the promotion. So it's pretty key. Now, something I wanted to mention, this is my core point, is why the EPK isn't the best way. Oh no, I know that some people claim to love the EPK, and there's always articles about how to make an EPK, but does anyone actually use the EPK? This is the question. So For me, I found that the EPK is not good. In the 10, 11 years I've been booking here, I have never had a venue in Japan that wanted one. I've never had an event that wanted one. I've never had a festival that wanted one. I've never had a label here that wanted one in Japan. And when I booked in other countries, none of the venues wanted a EPK either. No event ever wanted an EPK. They wanted a live performance video within the past 12 months and maybe a socials link. So why is the EPK not always great? Well, first of all, if it's a bad EPK, it's going to turn the reader off immediately. I recently received an EPK. It was like a PDF pitch deck that they were putting off as an EPK. It was 48 pages long. Again, 48. There were no live links in it, so I could see a screenshot from a video, but I couldn't click on it to get to the video. And the band is not that famous or not that long-lived. I mean, this is a band that formed less than a year ago. So I'm not sure where there's 48 pages of information in. I only looked at it because it was from a friend that sent it to me. Hey, please take a look at this EPK for another friend's band. Normally, I wouldn't even look at it. I don't even look at EPKs when I get them. And certainly if I did open up an EPK and it said 48 pages, I don't look at it. I mean, I might glance at it if it's 4 pages or under. Relevance, again, small venues don't get them regularly, or they don't want them, and they don't have time to go through all those documents and pages and look through. Certainly an email is going to give you a better personal connection. You can ask questions, you can see what they actually want. And again, it's bad because if the venue or booker says, I don't want an EPK, I want a video and your Instagram link, and you send them an EPK, oh, that's all in our EPK, it turns them off. Like, I asked for A and B, and you are forcing me into looking at C, which already lets them know maybe this band is not that easy to work with, so we're going to have trouble. Now, from my side, does anyone still use EPKs? As I said, in Japan, they're not used. I've booked in the US. Nobody wanted one there. Is there somebody in the US that wants one? Possibly, but I haven't run into them. Canada, no. Europe, no. Southeast Asia, no, except for one place recently that wanted an EPK. Before the internet, the press kit made sense. You know, we didn't have the internet. You had to make a lovely picture and do your copies of press clippings and pop in a CD or a 7-inch single, if we're really back in the day, and deliver it. People couldn't look up the information easily. Then the internet came, you thought, oh, that's great. Let's put it here and just send it out by email. That's super. But now it is much easier for the person who's reading it. If they really want to know more, they'll search the band themselves and see all the press or all the shenanigans that are going on, not just the carefully curated quote that you picked for the press kit. They're going to see, now, what did the rest of the article say? Is it really a real article? Is it a real site? I've gotten EPKs where the press clipping, I'm hunting, I'm like, there's no such place. This newspaper is fake. They made it up. So instead, just send us what we want. Chris, what about you? Are you using EPKs? Do the venues want EPKs? Do you want EPKs?
No. Like, that's I'm like, yeah, as you say, it's why, you know, I'm thinking for a band, why even add that design element? If you don't even have a designer in your band, it's going to look rubbish, right? It's and no, anything with an attachment, I very rarely look at the attachment. Like, and as you, April, as you said, like, I might look at it because a friend said, please look at it. But if it's out of the blue email or contact, I'm like, why didn't they just put a link in their email? Like, why, you know? Yeah. So the a brief email works far better than an EPK. Don't bands, in my opinion, don't waste your time making an EPK.
Right. Now, again, if you have an EPK, I'm not saying throw it in the trash can. However, don't send it out automatically. See what the venue or the booker wants, and also check your EPK. Is it up to date? Sometimes bands pay quite a bit of money to have one made, and then 6 months later, it's not valid anymore because 2 of the members changed out, or you've done some more festivals. Now you're having to update things. Sometimes bands are not updating, so the EPK is out of date, the picture isn't right, or the style of the EPK does not actually suit the style of the band. So again, maybe what I'm finding is a lot of people will say, if anything at all, a one sheet. Bands should just make a one sheet. Photo, brief bio, couple of links, the
Contact
icons or
details.
socials. Yes, and so send a 1 page if they really need to. Again, am I saying that nobody anywhere in the world will accept an EPK? I am not. I'm just saying it's not always the best way, and in many regions it's not used at all. I was in a meeting with a consortium of various artist managers and label managers, most of them in the Americas, a few in Europe, and me. And the consensus was no, it was about 150 people. No one in that group uses EPKs or wants them. And some of them work for major labels, some of them work for small labels, some of them work for venues, some of them are just with artists. So again, not saying throw it out, just saying it's not always your best tool. So if we're booking the band, first, please carefully read the venue or event website. Many times they tell you exactly what they want. They will say, send an email with the following, or they'll say, use this form, and they have like a Google form or website-based form where you plug in band name, live video, dates you're looking for, additional information, enter. Follow those instructions. So if only an email is given with no specific instructions, send that inquiry email. Again, keep it short and brief. Ask how to book, give a general date range you're looking for, and a live video link. Chris, what do you have to say on that one?
Yeah, definitely. First, carefully read the venue or event website. I mean, I know, when you're busy trying to book venues and plan tours, of course you have to copy and paste most of your email, but do get the name of the venue right, and do check it out, because I shared with you, April, one time I had a band going, I can't, I really want to play your reggae festival, and I'm like, but I've never done and never will do a reggae festival. So it immediately signaled to me they hadn't looked at my website, and if they don't even have the time to look at their website, why should I look at their material? Delete. Right? It's yeah.
Yes.
So I think it's so important. Yeah.
I'll kind of get the copy and paste ones too. That's just this wall of text. It's like, we're looking for shows in your area. We bring a big brass band, and they'll give 12 video links and then a bunch of press links. And I'm thinking, I've never booked a big brass band. And while I could probably find somebody to do it, it would have been better if they just sent me a quick inquiry email. We're a big brass band, and we'd love to play in Japan. Do you know who books that or where we would go? And then I could refer them. But instead, it's just kind of a big wall of too much that ends up being kind of looked at and deleted quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so I made this very sample email. I mean, if I get an email like this, I like it. I think if Chris gets one similar, she likes it. From my experience within Japan and the other places I've booked, this is what I've come up with. Obviously, everybody knows how to write an email, but, booking inquiry in the band's name, venue's name, little courtesy greeting. I'll talk about the courtesy greeting in just a moment. Your name, your band name, what genre, where you come from, and you want to play a live music night. Not the reggae festival, but one of your live music nights. We're hoping to play on a date between, hopefully, that is 4 to 6 months out or further. We can plan further. Please let me know what you need from us or how your booking policy works, and we'll get what you need over to you. Great. Ask what we need. Don't automatically send huge EPKs or the wall of text. To give you a sense of our music, here's a recent live performance. Boom. One live. That's all we need. Thank you. Their name, and throw in some band socials. Let the people click on your Instagram, your Facebook, which Facebook is still quite used for business. Facebook is considered the LinkedIn of Japan. So a lot of venues in Japan, and I see also in Thailand, a lot of people use Facebook for the business side of it. I want to mention the courtesy greeting here. I have seen some people say, especially in the US, oh, that's so old fashioned, that's so boomer to have some sort of courtesy greeting. In Japan, they like a courtesy greeting, usually related to the weather. So if it's spring, when you're sending the email, hope you're enjoying the cherry blossoms. If it's summer, oh, it's so hot, please take care. If it's fall, you know, how are the fall leaves changing? You know, a little courtesy greeting. And I will say, if you're sending them out in Japan, they have to be in Japanese. Maybe 5% of the venues will reply to an English email. The rest of them will just immediately discard it. Now, that doesn't mean they can't handle English if you tour here. Basic English is handled, and a lot of music terms are the same, but just that initial inquiry, you have to be on the same side as they are. Chris, what about your input on that? What do you think?
This sample email, like if only, you know, maybe I should even put it on our website. Like, could you do it like this? Because it's very clear, it's very polite, and it's got all the information you need, right? And I have had the strangest, like, you know, the reggae festival was one, but I've had people, you know, like, hi underground, I'd like to play you, Google my band name or look up my band name on YouTube. And they don't even give the link. And I'm like, what do you consider my time, that I have so much free time that I can Google your band? Or, you know, I don't even know what your band's music is, and I don't know when you're coming. No, I don't even bother replying, delete. So this is so clear. If I got a clear, polite email like this, I'd be like, wow, I must reply to this email when I have time. Or if I actually had time, I click on the video and watch it, right? And then, having said that, if I don't have time, I may forget, and it goes down in my email box. And I think we were talking about this, like, then if you sent a polite email with all the information, you don't hear anything, a week, 10 days later, even 2 weeks, go, hey, did you get my email? Is it because the dates don't work? I really love to work with you guys or play at your venue, because then you get a sense of, oh, they really do want to work with us or play at our venue. Then the likelihood of getting a response goes up 1,000%, I think. So I love this clear email. I think, wow, yeah. When you get complicated emails, you just have a perception that the band must be hard to deal with. They probably don't turn up. They probably, I don't know, something will happen. And usually you're right. So yeah.
Something will happen.
First impressions count, right? It's that whole,
Indeed.
yeah, first impressions.
You know, when a band says, oh, just put my band name into YouTube and search me up. Well, first of all, it's a little bit rude to not give me your preferred link. But let's say it's like, I've got time today, and I go to YouTube and I put the band name in, and it's like, and there are 47 bands with the same name. Or it's their band name is the name of a popular song title. So, but they didn't tell me, are they from Malaysia or from the US? So I can't even put an identifier in, like ABC band England or ABC band Canada or anything like that. I have no idea who they are. So that's kind of a mess.
It's bizarre. It's bizarre.
I read an article a couple years ago from a music writer, a guy that actually consults for bands, And he said that a booking email, you shouldn't use capitals, you should have it all lowercase. It's okay to misspell because venue managers are maybe not so educated or not professional, so you need to keep it at their level. And I just really found that rather insulting to venue managers. But then again, add in the fact that, in 10 years, I've never had somebody say, your email was too polite. You can always get casual later once you know people and give a, hey, dude, what's up? But, the initial email, yo, dude, I want to play your venue, all lowercase. It's like, just Google me. It's not.
Yeah. And you mentioned, April, you mentioned like, I found that interesting, like that Facebook is like the LinkedIn of Japan. I would say here, Instagram has overtaken Facebook, right? The bands, some businesses don't even have a Facebook. However, I think it's good to have both because you don't know the venue owner or promoter what age group they're in, right? Because definitely the younger generation will use Instagram more. But like it doesn't matter if you're in the older generation because your music might appeal to that demographic that we want to do that show on that night. We just need the information and a couple of links to your socials.
And it's free to
really,
be
it's
there.
fantastic. Yeah.
So does anyone have any questions? We'd be delighted to answer a few questions about booking or venues in our area or anything like that. So if you have them, feel free. Or, we'll try to make up some anecdotes. Neil,
I think
go
Neil's
for it.
raised his hand.
How you doing? Greetings from Ireland. I just have a small question about regards booking gigs in Japan. And is there any such thing as getting any kind of government cultural funding for gigs? I'm in the early process of working on trying to set up a travel bridge between Ireland and Japan, bringing Irish new acts over to Japan and vice versa, bringing Japanese acts to Ireland for gigs. And I'm working on trying to get funding from the Irish government and the arts councils here. And I'm just wondering, is there any such thing in Japan and would they go for that as well?
All right. Good question. And certainly, feel free to email me later and we can get into it longer. The gist is if there's funding on your side to help your bands, that's great. And when I book tours for bands, I do have like an invitation letter, as well as kind of here's our proposed tour with capacity and things like that. That has worked for people who have done, now I haven't had any Irish bands, but Canada, Malaysia, Italy, and Germany, need that kind of paperwork. So we can provide that as a registered agency here so that the home country, your home country, can perhaps apply to appropriate funding for like showcase tour, promotional tour, things like that. Now, is there anything like that on the Japan side? Yes and no. Yes, the government claims there is something like that here, but no, in the fact that it is so tedious and so long for bands to apply that most bands just self-fund if they come from Japan and go overseas.
Right, that's understood. My first protocol was to try the Japanese embassy here and see how I can start it there. But I just wanted to have
I
good
would say
presentation
with
for
that, the
first.
embassy, Japan likes to do idol groups and things like that. So if you're wanting to bring over indie bands and things like that, if you have arts councils that will fund it, I mean, it's better to do that not through the government because they're going to put things like, oh, we only want pop or we only want this style of band that we're going to bring over, but just do it in the grassroots scene. Do it more hands-on.
Well, I did the music I'd be planning to bring over would be a mix of everything, but the inaugural time I'd be doing it, I'd be planning to bring kind of maybe stereotypically Irish music. I've been working on some established Irish names to bring over, such as Damien Dempsey. I don't know if you've ever heard of him, but he'd
Mhm.
be like an Irish legacy artist, and then other newer acts as well. But yeah, so that ni watashi wa nihongo ga hanasu koto ga dekimasu. So that I know that helps. That can help with my applications and stuff, as you were saying. But yeah, it's that's the plan anyway.
Yeah, one thing to keep in mind though is if you're bringing bands over, bring them over one at a time. Because there is no real promo power to coming from overseas. So sometimes we get organizers that are like, I want to bring 5 bands over and I want to make a show. How much are you going to pay us to do it? If you want to bring 5 bands over, you're going to have to rent a venue here and then try to recoup it on ticket sales. And a lot of organizers aren't going to want to do that. Keep in mind that there's about 800 music venues in Tokyo alone. 600 of them operate every night. So they all book 4 to 7 bands a night. So you've got a lot of competition to do a show. So it's better to do one at a time and have them build up their audience in this way. If they're very well known, then maybe the label, like if they're on Sony on your side, then Sony on this side will work with them. But if they're in an indie band, then basically they're starting from ground zero here. So better to go with the daily venue scene, build up a crowd, make some network with other local bands, and then just build up that way. It'll be kind of cost effective, just having to pay for travel. You don't have to pay for venue rental that way.
Great. Cheers. Thanks very much for you guys. Thank you.
Certainly. Adele, go for it.
Hey, April, finally.
Hey.
Hi, Chris. Hey, Neil. So I work with an Irish artist. It's surprising. The Irish are storming your session. So I work with an Irish artist. What's the best way to research venues by genre?
Venues don't book by genre here. They all book whatever they want. So the deal is, maybe on Monday night they felt like booking only hardcore, and on Tuesday night they felt like doing only acoustic, and Wednesday night ended up being multi-genre.
Okay.
So there is not by genre. Again, as I said, the email has to be in Japanese. And I will say another thing is a lot of venues will say, have someone who lives in Japan contact us.
Got it.
You need an agent in Japan
That's where you
because
come in.
overseas bands oftentimes don't show up. So they need someone here that's going to take responsibility that if the overseas band doesn't show up, we'll find a local band substitute or we'll pay the cancellation fee, because they cannot force a band overseas to pay the cancel fee, but they can force the Japan agent to pay the $300 penalty fee for the band not showing up. So
Got it. Is it worthwhile researching venues, or is it just better off for foreign bands to just get an agent and just deal with it that way?
Well, in full transparency, since part of my job is coordinating tours for overseas bands and have done so for many years, of course, I would say contact an agent. You could do it on your own. There are bands that do it on their own, but generally they'll only get a couple of gigs. They are kind of quite unsure what to prepare, what to bring with them. Again, they spend a lot of time trying to research venues by genre when that isn't even really necessary.
That's not a thing. Okay. Great. Thanks, April. I just noticed you've only got a minute left, so
no problem. Thank you. All right. Anyone else? Any other exciting questions? So I popped my email up here. Chris, if you want to throw your email in there, or not, if you want to be secretive. So if anybody has some questions, they can always email. If we get a lot of questions, a variety of questions, we'll make an audio follow-up answering the questions and put that up on YouTube also, so people can hear those. All right. Well, thank you so much for everyone for coming by today. Again, please stay in touch, email, find us on our socials. We're happy to help anybody that wants to ask some questions about our areas or bring some bands over.
Definitely. Yeah, good luck with everyone. It's hard work. Yeah.
True that. All right.
Yeah.
Enjoy the Sunday, everyone. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.